Hey everyone, it's Xant. So we're back to standard banners after the ravaging that was Full Armor Unicorn and Banshee Norn. Now, I'm actually going to use this video to also discuss the arena suit and my impressions on it, as by the time this video is rendered, and it's more or less ready to go, that will have gone live, so I'm not going to render it, I'm going to do my impressions all on it, mash it all together, and worry about it then. I will tell you all up front that if I can manage to make the arena suit viable for arena, I am going to, because it is a mono suit, and it is also one of my top 10 aesthetic suits. I love the Zaku Phantom. I think it looks really cool and has a really nice profile look to it. So, a lot like the Kshatriya. I think it's just something to do with like shoulder binders and stuff like that in the mono eye look. Now that I think about it, there's definitely a type involved. Anyways, on to business. The first gacha suit this week is the Musha Gundam Super Hagane version from SD Gundam. However, I could find almost no information about it, nor even a Gunpla for a picture here, or a decently sized box art image. Everything I searched brought up the golden raiment variant that we got previously. SD Gundams, man, they're my bane. I'm sorry guys, it's really out of my control here. I just couldn't find anything about it, I'm sorry. So, moving on to something that there is info for, our other gacha suit this week is the Cherudim Gundam, coming from Season 2 of 00. It's the successor of the Dynames, and it's built from the ground up for nothing but those precise shots and long-range firepower. You can see this in all aspects of the suit's build, from the GN particle controller placement being changed to avoid long-range sensor interference, to the feet having parts that cement the Gundam in place while sniping on terrain. It even has bits that function both as shields and guns. Lots of thought went into the Dynames 2.0 here, and frankly, I think it's one of the best Season 2 opener suits from 00. Don't at me. I'd go more into the history of this suit, but unfortunately that's boiled down to Aeolia Shenberg's big brain plans for solely upgrading celestial being. So there's really not a lot of history on this one, just kinda it was made because that was the plan. Straightforward enough, I guess. So what does the Cherudim actually bring as weapons? Well, it has two GN Beam Pistol Mark IIs, which are an improved GN Beam Pistol, 4 GN Missile Pods, 9 GN Shield Bits. Now these are controlled by Haro, he's placed in the cockpit. 2 of them can form together, and instead of a beam pistol like the smaller ones can do on their own, it's more like a cannon. Pretty neat. And of course the iconic GN Sniper Rifle, but this time the Mark II. It's the same as the old one, but can also fold in half to form a 3-barrel beam Vulcan for rapid fire, and it can also fire the normal beam rifle shots in this mode, albeit in a slower fashion than when, firing from the beam Vulcan rapidly. Now, the beam sniper rifle turning into a Vulcan, I think, is a little weird, but it does give the suit more mid-range options. I wonder if we're going to see a long-range, mid-range word tag combo thing going on here with this suit. That'd be neat. Our event suit this week is the High Mobility Saikomu Type Zaku II, coming from the MSV art book and the 1 Year War timeline. It actually has had multiple appearances, from a stint in a short film called Gundam Crisis, which was just an advertisement for a theme park ride, to a Build Fighters appearance, and even finding a way into Gundam Thunderbolt December Sky ONA. That's an original net animation. It's a suit built to test the Saikomu system, and to miniaturize it for standard-sized suits like the Cubuli. It was actually the second draft of the Saikomu system Zaku. The first, MS-06Z, was deemed too inefficient, because its thruster consumption and generator requirements were too intense. So the legs were swapped out with high-output thrusters, creating the high-mobility variant you see here. The issue with this was the suit still performed terribly when put under high-speed testing, since the majority of the suit was still the original frame, which they were having problems with. So the entire project was shifted to another suit instead. The Saikomu Zaku here can be considered a remnant of the original testing that Zeon did, and you can see some of the similarities between it and the Zeong, which was a product of this research. Its weapons are very straightforward. It only has 2 wired 5-barrel mega particle guns. These are controlled by the Saikomu system, and like I said, you can see where the Zeong kinda got its inspiration from. I like the MSV suits because they're typically all lore, and none of the extrapolation you normally need for mainline anime suits is required, so makes my life easy. Now, we're gonna hop right into that arena suit. You may have seen the news notification about this a couple of days ago, but we get a Seed Destiny Mono-Eye, the Zaku Phantom, piloted by Izak Jule for the Zaft forces. Now, it's actually a variant of the Zaku Phantom, as the / prefix is actually thanks to the / Wizard Pack, which is an offshoot of the Impulse Silhouette packs, with the core difference being the Wizard packs can't be hot-swapped during combat. Now, the Phantom is a commander version of the Zaku Warrior, with higher performance across the board and sporting both an additional shield on its right shoulder and a blade antenna for C4ISR. It's an acronym used by the US for Command, Control, Communications, Computers, that's the C4, Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance, ISR. Things a commander on the field would typically need. Fancy little antenna, isn't it? Created as a byproduct of the Junius Treaty that banned all nuclear and Mirage colloid technology from seeing military use, the Zaku Warrior, and subsequently Phantom, were the new mass production suits, one variant for mooks and fodder, and one for aces and commanders. It makes use of all the advancements made during both Seed and the 4-year gap between it and Destiny, and you can see how widespread they are within the first few episodes of Destiny. Nice. Mono-Eyes are justice. Now, the weapons on the Zaku Phantom are, well, pretty much all there. You have your 2 shoulder shields, you can plainly see one on each side there. Inside of them actually is a beam tomahawk, and there's 2 spare magazine drums you can see on the hand grip side. Those are for the beam assault rifle. It has 4 hand grenades, the beam assault rifle like I mentioned, and specifically for the Wizard Pack variant of the Zaku Phantom, which we're getting, you have the 2 Hydra Gatling beam cannons, those are on the shoulders there, and they're powered by the suit battery instead of magazines like the assault rifle, and a Falx G7 beam axe. It's the beam tomahawk, but longer and it has fancier blades. But they're really fancy. I'm really happy that this is an arena suit, because it means 1, my Haro is safe, and 2, I get a wicked suit for free. Well, I say free, but it costs arena coins, but I have thousands of arena coins that I'm using, so this sucker's going to be EX10 across the board whether he likes it or not. Now, onto our pilots, and we'll start with the arena suit pilot Izak Jule. He's been in the game for quite a while now, I think actually since about launch, and his original suit from Seed, the Duel, has 2 variants in-game. He was originally one of the 5 ace pilots from the Le Creuset team. Izak was the hothead of this group and had 0 grip on his temper, to the point of firing on a shuttle full of civilians because they flew in front of him. And no, I don't mean he accidentally shot them. They flew in front of him while entering atmosphere in a tiny shuttle. He got mad and changed his aim to specifically fire on them and kill every single one. That's a dick move, man. Constantly losing out against the strike that the Crusade team had been ordered to chase, Izak eventually got a large face wound from the strike that he kept throughout Seed as a reminder of his grudge against it and its pilot. And that makes it really cool when you see him in Destiny without it, as it shows that he's grown beyond his original self and the character tropes that made him up. Beyond growing as a person through the series, he's an undisputed ace. He's personally shot down dozens of mobile suits and enemy armors while also contending against Plot Armor Yamato for a colossal portion of Gundam Seed, and his work is rewarded by the time Destiny starts as he's now a commander, which is the variant we're getting now, white suit and all. Frankly, I think he's the best redemption arc from the Le Creuset team, so nice job. Gacha pilot time. We'll start with Iok Kujin from Iron-Blooded Orphans. I guess he managed to find his way out of the can Akihiko preserved his paste in, and he's going to join us as the 3-star pilot for this week. Head of the Kujin family, and one of the 7 stars, he's a rather impulsive pilot, and thick-headed to boot, refusing to recognize his failures that led to his subordinates' deaths, and instead blames Tekadon for them, when they had no relevance to it. He's also comically evil. He used illegal weapons on the turbines after framing them to be holding those weapons, and it was all just to impress his role model. How low can you go? He's a mediocre pilot to boot, having been bailed out multiple times, but his passion seems to be substituting for Nat 20 charisma rolls as he manages to not get the boot every time he does something dumb. His ending, though, is quite cathartic. He was on the receiving end of the full city scissors after triggering Akihiro, who crushed him to a paste in his mobile suit. Squish. I actually recall seeing the reactions to this character as the episodes aired, and holy crap did people hate him and his guts. To my knowledge, he's the only Gundam character to ever have a fan-made petition created, asking for him to be killed off, and even the Japanese Twitter side created hashtags after episode 40, discussing ways to end Izak and his crap. That's some kind of record, not one you want to make, but that's impressive. Our final pilot and last edition this week is Anna Rose Rosenheim, coming from the side story video game Missing Link. A new type pilot for Zeon, she found herself facing off against Chloe, a pilot that we've had added in the past, which is all I can get about her, since, it's a Japan-only PS3 video game, and this is not a main character. Well, okay, main character, not the main character. She was actually a pilot of the original prototype for this week's event suit, though, so there's that cool bit of info for you. And with that, well, that's this week done in a nutshell. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my impressions of the arena suit and pilot, as those have been added by the time this is all done. So yeah, I'll wrap up my thoughts there, guys. So for you it'll just be a second, for me it'll be like 30 minutes as I create my video. Hey everyone, welcome back. Like I said, for you it took no time at all, but for me it's been a few minutes. So, I'm just going to look over the /Zaku Phantom here, and let you guys know what my impressions are like. No face cam this time. I look like more of a mess than normal, so. Oh man, look at that model. Oh, that looks so good. Why'd it have to be an arena suit? I would have rolled this on Sokai. Anyways, Infighter job, recover 10 armor gradually. Stat traits completely useless. Zaku type and commander. They're not common tags, at least not together, but they're not amazing tags, so, okay. Thematically, it's definitely on point. Stat distribution-wise, it's welfare tier. Alright, torso. With Twin Blade category equipped, EX skill CD reduced. Note that's not initial skill CD reduction, that's just CD reduction. So, stat-wise, it has higher than average melee attack, which is always very interesting to see on these types of suits. Zaku-type commander again. So this could be a pinch stat stick if you desperately need it, but do know it only shows high offensive stats. The other stats are actually, looking at it, worse than welfare. So you're trading any form of defense for the extra offense with this part. Other more air quotes competitive parts have both some defensive stats to them as well as the offensive stat stick capabilities. Anyways, it's an okay part. It's good in a pinch for people that need a good torso for stats. Now the arms. Job gauge increased down 10%, melee power boosted. It's not an integrated part. I think that's a very healthy trade-off there for a trait, as I've said in the past. Your job gauge increase down by 10% typically doesn't affect a fight, and you get a 25% melee boost, because you don't have to worry about getting this to EX10, it's practically free. 10 out of 10. Stat-wise, though, it is a lot lower than I think most of us would hope, but again, this is something that I would pick up A for the aesthetics, B for the trait. It does have Zaku type and high firepower, however, meaning you do have that pocket high firepower tag. Excellent. I would say these arms so far are the best part of the suit, and I will definitely recommend picking these up just for the trait and the high firepower tag alone. The legs. When C power is over 100,000, melee crit rate boost. Crit rate boost, not really a big deal. You just want to be hitting hard. You don't want to be gambling on the crits being what carry you. Zaku type high firepower again. Awesome. I love seeing the high firepower tag. Stat wise though, it's welfare tier. But nice. The part trait, not that great. One good word tag. So this is again an aesthetic option or something you slot in the back for high firepower just to finish off your tag combo. Could be a lot worse, frankly. Now the backpack here, Hydra Gatling Beam Cannon DB. Well, it has B power, which is nice. It's not a cutscene skill, however. It's not a magazine skill either. Zaku type high firepower. So stat-wise, it's very lackluster. EX skill is meh. It's not really that great. At least has B power to it, but that doesn't really mean much with this type of EX skill. And it does have high firepower. So again, aesthetic if you like it, or for the high firepower tag, which is always a nice pickup to get. Now, the weapon, the Beam Tomahawk, 3255 melee, so that's like, what, 27, 28? It's not that bad, not that good. At least it's on the higher end for air quotes welfare. While Zaku type, initial EX skill charge boost by 12%. If you're running a suit that has Zaku type, which does raise your melee attack by 5%, so it's like a second high firepower if you're running a melee suit. Anyways, you may want to get this part. Now, the 12% is very low. Typically, you'd see this up at 15% to 20%, at least on the more sought-after parts. But 12% for free is nothing to sniff at, or scoff at, not sniff at, scoff at. So yeah, it's okay. Overall, though, I'm not really too impressed with this part. But, it's okay. You could definitely make use of the trait. Come on, open up. Okay. Open up. Let me in. So we're looking at pretty much the same stat distribution as the small axe, which I find kind of funny considering this is a humongous axe. Looks really cool though. Stat distribution wise, yep, it's the exact same. B max deployment, B plus C, so this hits a lot lower. And you reduce enemies' beam resist by 39%. That doesn't really matter too much. Zaku type, high firepower. So we see another high firepower tag on a melee weapon. Nice. So you wouldn't want to use this for stats or EX, but you may want to use this for the word tag. That's really all it's got going for it. Okay. The Beam Assault Rifle. When one enemy shot down, reduce cooldown by 40% once. Again, this is one of those scenarios where this is not very useful, as it's not initial skill CD, it's just skill CD, and it only works if you're fighting more than one enemy, so it's not going to be terribly useful in 1v1 arena. It's going to be actually completely useless, but it would be nice, I guess, in 3v3, or certain multi-missions, maybe even just standard missions or stuff, but even then, that's just cooldown, not initial, so that's just something to keep in mind. Zaku type commander word tags, meh. Stat distribution wise, this is don't even use it tier. This is like, what, 12, 1300 base? No, that's not a weapon. That's a toy. Izak, what do you got for us? With speed gauge, job gauge, okay, no, who cares about job gauge boost? Commander for space, accurate word tags. I don't really like the melee attack on him, but he is a free in-fighter pilot. Okay. He's not really that great of a pilot. Okay. Well, overall, I think the best part of the Slash Zaku Phantom is definitely going to be the arms. The fact that it has high firepower on a ton of parts does make it a serviceable set that you can use. But yeah, I'm definitely quite happy with the way that this suit looks. So anyways, that'll be my impressions for this one here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So yeah, look forward to the stream that's going to be happening in a couple of days with the full content drop. Yeah, cool. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you in the next one.